powerful than people gathering in the same space with shared purpose and passion. Good afternoon, esteemed panel members, distinguished guests, and valued attendees. With great pleasure, I, Raksha Hussain from Biotech CS, welcome you all to the TISCECon 2025. Today, we bring together remarkable minds from diverse backgrounds, each contributing unique insights and expertise to our collective dialogue. To our distinguished panel members who have taken time from their busy schedules to share their knowledge and expertise, thank you. Your presence enriches this gathering and promises to make today's discussions both enlightening and impactful. Welcome, and let's make this conference a truly memorable and productive experience for all. Today, we embark on a critical exploration of how collaboration shapes the future of life sciences innovation. Our session, Transforming Life Sciences Startups, the Power of Collaboration Between Academia and Industry, delves into one of the most dynamic intersections in modern biotechnology, where groundbreaking academic research meets commercial potential. It is my distinct honor to introduce our session chairperson, Dr. Nida Fatima Ma'am, Executive Director, ISF. She stands as a beacon of innovation in the academic entrepreneurship landscape. Under her visionary leadership, ISF has emerged as a vibrant hub where promising ideas transform into impactful ventures. Her profound understanding of both academic research and business dynamics has been instrumental in bridging these two worlds. I'm delighted to introduce our distinguished co-chairperson, Dr. Partha Sarthi Sir, who represents both the Indian Institute of Toxicology Research and the Association of Food Scientists and Technologists of India, Lucknow chapter. Dr. Partha Sarthi has established himself as a pioneering force in strengthening the crucial nexus between academic research and industrial application. His remarkable career spans decades of dedicated research and academic excellence. Our first speaker today is Dr. Amjad Hussain Sir, a professor at the Cancer Research Institute, Dehradun, and co-founder of Canphysis Therapeutics. He is a highly respected scientist in the field of oncology and biotechnology, with a strong commitment to advancing cancer research and developing innovative therapeutic solutions. With a career spanning over several decades, Dr. Amjad Hussain Sir has dedicated his research to bridging the gap between academia and industry by working on cutting-edge biotechnological applications in cancer treatment and nutrition-based therapies. Today, Sir will be sharing his insights on transforming health, building profitable biotechnology startups in oncology and nutrition. His wealth of experiences in translating scientific discoveries into real-world applications will undoubtedly provide invaluable knowledge to all of us here. We are honored to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you for the introduction. Quick correction, I don't have a several decades of experience. I'm still learning. So the title of my talk is Building Successful Biotech Startups in Oncology. And the reason why I choose this title, because most of the time the deep tech startups, especially in biotech, they do have a very large gestation period. And most of the time these startups, they do research and research and research. They burn a lot of cash and there is no product. And most of these startups also die if there is no relevant IPR and all. So what we are trying to build a startup in oncology space in India. It's an Indian company, Canphysis Therapeutics. And I started this, the company got incorporated in 2021, end of 2021. We started operation in 2022. And I will share some of the data in my journey over the last 3 years. How would we, like, how did we manage to make it as a very lean in terms of operation? Also, we spend 75 to 80% of our cash on R&D and manpower. And also we are trying to develop more towards like IPR based products. And we have a service vertical, which is we are using to generate some revenue so that that can support the R&D. But this presentation I put on purpose for students, so I really want them to participate and pay some attention. I try to break down the different steps of starting up a company and some of the success stories. So, the title of my talk is, as I already mentioned, it's Building Successful Biotech Startup, and then also some of the reason why you as a student should choose entrepreneurship. What are the technological ventures across the globe? Some of the examples, and what are the steps from idea to start a successful company. And I'll also share the case study of Canfinis and R&D to product journey, fundraising, and challenges in biotech startups. I'll try to finish this presentation in 22 minutes so that we are on time. So, entrepreneurs are problem solvers. If you see some of these logos, most of these companies, you may appreciate that they didn't exist 20 years ago, right? And those are not only multi-billion dollar companies, but they are beyond that. They are driving the economies right now globally. Can you guess this logo? Students, Tesla. Can you guess this one? Huh? Nvidia, right? And I'm sure these all are, they look familiar. Also, these are, as per the yesterday's data, these are the richest in the world. That is the same order. And if you could see, of course, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, everyone knows Bezos and all, but there are also people like Amancio Ortega. He made his fortune by founding, can you tell me? Zara. You know Zara? You do a lot of shopping at Zara. And also, this gentleman, he's the founder of Louis Vuitton. So, there are people who started tech companies, Google, and all, but there are people who started retail and they're very successful. Not only men, but they're very successful example of women as well. The multi-billionaire from Walton family, also this lady Jacqueline Mars, she made fortune out of Mars candies and Mars chocolates. These are Forbes personalities. But the question is, where are the technological driven ventures, and are there any technological driven ventures started by scientists and people who are very deep in technology? So this person, I'm sure you all can recognize, Thomas Edison. He's the one who started General Electric. So he was a scientist, but he also started GE. He was the founder of GE, and he was an entrepreneur and hold multiple patents. Bob Langer, his example was also quoted by Professor Yadav. He's a professor at MIT. He's a founder of Moderna. They actually started for the first time when they said that RNA can be used as a vaccine. And the initial name of the company was Mod RNA, and that's how it became Moderna later. And he co-founded multiple companies that have 1,500 plus publications and 1,400 plus patents, and he's a billionaire. There are other billionaire professors also, including Tim Springer, who initially invested in Moderna and became a billionaire thanks to the stock of Moderna during the COVID time. If you could see that during peak COVID, the stock was traded approximately at $400, and then now it came down. But ultimately, that was the time when market cap of Moderna was around $200 billion, and these all people, they became billionaires who were the co-founders. So what makes these companies so successful? Of course, they have figured out the technology, they have a lot of patents, and they also figured out how the RNA can become stable, and also they can deliver it to the target. So, and Moderna has a huge IP portfolio. Not only that, but there are other companies, Merck, Pfizer, Alnylam, Biogen, eGenesis. At some point of time, most of these companies were started by scientists and technocrats in pharma. Also, the companies like Joule Technologies, Calico. Calico is a new venture of Google in uh, aging, and Foundation Medicine is one of the company in precision oncology, which is based in Boston. So not only in West, but there are also people in India. They are also very, very successful. They were in science and they started companies including Vikram Sarabhai, Yusuf Hamid Saab, and then the founder of Narayan Hridayalaya Devi Shetty, Kiran Anji Reddy, and Kiran Majumdar, Azim Premji, Narayan Murthy. Uh, they all have started companies and created a lot of opportunities. So the question is, what is the right time to start a company? So as a student, you need to figure out that when you are starting a company, is there an unmet need? And then what is the market and its size? Who is your target customer? And also the segment of the market it serves, and also the activities and support required to make your product, and what are the regulatory hurdles and approvals or the licensing that you need in order to make your product to the market. And also the right pricing is very, very important, whether it is a product or a service. You may have a very excellent product, but if the pricing is not right, it won't take you anywhere. And then if you figured it out, then what is your go to market plan, and what's the expansion and protection strategy, and who are the channel partners will help you for the market access, and ultimately the company has to be profitable. So that is very important. I'll give you a classic case example of Apple TV and Sony. If you know that Apple also launched a TV which was selling for around $7,000 initially, although it was a very superior quality, but it didn't hit the market because other products which are available in the market, they were way, way, way cheaper, and it was not adding that much of quality. So that is one of the important lesson, that the right pricing is very important. Also, if you see coffee as a case of Starbucks, they have a very strong IPR. They have a lot of cases of trademark infringement. They have a army of legal professionals, and I don't know if you are aware. There was a famous case in Delhi called Sardar Bucks Cafe case, where this cafe tried to infringe the name, and then they got a legal battle done, and ultimately Starbucks won the case. So it's also important not only to establish a trademark but also to protect the brand. So the startups that I co-founded, and I like to share one of those with you. One was Live Cell Technology that we started at Harvard with one of my mentor, and it was, the startup didn't do well, but the technology was taken by Amgen Pharma in 2016. And then I started this Canfinis Therapeutics 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And Yulo Lab is one of the new venture that I started from my lab recently, a few months ago. So I'll talk to you about Canfinis Therapeutics a little bit. So what we are trying to develop at Canfinis, we are developing and trying to commercialize the best-in-class CAR Ts for the gastric cancer. CAR T is a chimeric antigen receptor T cell, and that's what we are trying to develop, targeting a solid tumor. If you see the market size of gastric cancer, it is it is more than that, but even if you capture 25% of the market size, it is almost $210 million dollars annually in India, and $375 million dollars annually in India for the late stage metastatic cancers. So overall, more than $500 million market size for gastric cancer in India, even if you capture 25% of the gastric cancer through CAR T in India. So the way it works, I try to make it simple for non-life scientist people, but just to give you the perspective, the way this therapy works, that when a patient has a cancer, gastric cancer, let's say, so the idea is that we take out the immune cells, and initially we take out the blood, and we isolate the immune cells, and then we enrich the T lymphocytes. After enriching and purification of T lymphocytes, we transform those T cells with a virus that carry a vector and that also express the antibody. So ultimately, these engineered T cells, they start making antibodies, and those antibodies are specific against this tumor cell marker. So these engineered T cells, after quality control, they injected back to the patient, and ultimately these T cells, since they have this antibody, they bind to tumor cells, and that's how the tumor cell get destroyed. And this is the technology that works beautifully for hematological cancer. There are already 5 CAR T cells approved by FDA for the hematological cancer, but there is no such product yet in the market and approved for the solid tumors. So does this require a lot of funds? Answer is yes and no, but if we plan our experiments and science wisely, then we can still have a very lean operations and also have a lot of collaborations. We get a lot of reagents and services as a gift and also through the collaboration from various organizations. So the way we became sustainable, and it is also very important to realize for biotech startup that we have a tumor microenvironment platform. These are the tiny tumor homes where you can actually grow the cancer cells and then also test efficacy if you want to test drug 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we did, we tried to create a microenvironment which is similar and physiological mimicking to the tumor. And then instead of testing your drugs in vitro in cell culture, you can test it in the TME platform. So through that platform, what we did, we started providing fee for services, and we got two clients, one from Boston, one from Hyderabad. They are the pharma companies. They are using our platform for this drug efficacy, drug discovery services, and that's how we made some revenue in first 2 years and fueling R&D and D and also maintaining the manpower and a small operation in Kolkata. So the Canfinis so far has developed a CAR T pipeline in preclinical stage. We are cash flow positive from second year. We are profitable and tax paying from second year onwards. 3 US patents are in pipeline. 2 PCT we are filing next month, and 4 national and global collaborations we already have. And no investments were raised yet, so we didn't dilute any equity so far. So we are pretty much in good shape as of now. So the bottom line is that when you don't have funds, the collaboration is important. But even when you have funds, collaboration is equally important. So collaborate and collaborate with right people. That is also very important. So after preclinical studies, we are trying to go to the manufacturing capabilities where we can make the product and which will be ready for the phase 1 clinical trial. So we already have collaborated with clinical trial 2 major hospitals in Kolkata and also 1 hospital in Dehradun, and they all already signed up. So when the product is ready, we can do a phase 1 clinical trial. Of course, the approval is needed, and we already have a lab in ISER Kolkata Rise Foundation. So without a good team, it is also very important that failure is guaranteed, and it is very important to know that without a good team, you don't succeed much, especially in science-driven ventures. So we already have a very strong team. Myself, Chandra Ghosh is a former faculty from Harvard. Pradeep Majumdar, a former Harvard faculty and ex-investigator from Ontario Institute of Cancer Research, Toronto, and Merck. He is also one of the co-founder of Canfinis. We already have more than 15 oncosurgeons, clinical oncologists, surgical oncologists on board and on our clinical advisory team. And we also have a lot of folks from industry who work in similar domain and science advisory team. So this is typically the designing of the vector, the way we designed this CAR-T chimera antigen receptor. I'm not going into the detail. And then it was injected and then the CAR was generated. So for the general audience, I like to share that our CAR-T is only important or valid, or they are, we can say that they are the successful CAR-T cells only if they express this chimeric antigen receptor. So you could see the expression with the control where transfection was not done, transduction was not done, and this is the T cell which was engineered, and you can see that they express chimeric antigen receptor. So one step ahead, we already generated the engineered cells. And then these engineered cells, when they were mixed with tumor cells, so they do create cytotoxicity effect. It means that they are able to kill tumor cells. They are able to induce apoptosis in tumor cells. And as you could see that the dose or amount of CAR T cell increases, you could see that the killing effect is also escalating. This is also very important to address because before going to the clinical stage, if you have that asset which is working beautifully in preclinical stage, that itself is enough to also convince investors that our technology is partly working. And that is the stage where we started approaching investors very strategically. We finished the preclinical experiments first. The beauty is that these experiments are being performed in our tumor microenvironment platform, so that is mimicking very well with the real tumor conditions. Now I'm coming to one of the very important slide, especially for students and young entrepreneurs, that when you talk about funding and maybe you get inspired by Shark Tank and all these shows, but it is also very important to understand the perspective of investors, what they really want to see in a startup when you are raising funds. So your technology and science might be very interesting to you, but for investors, it is more about his own interest. What does he want? He want to see, or a venture cap fund want to see a clear fund utilization plan and multiple times exit whatever they are investing into, right? And the part is that most of the life sciences driven ventures, they are here. They start research and then they thought that investment should come here, but ideally, investor would like to see somewhere here IPR and product and assets. So that's where investor may even consider talking to you. If you say that, okay, you are an expert, you have an academic experience for 20 years, you published 50 papers, of course it's respectable, but then investor don't want to invest their money into your R&D. They want to see beyond R&D. So when you figured it out, I mean, this is typical. If someone is very life sciences savvy, then of course they can put a lot of money into R&D as well. So that is typically what happened. Then they also want to see what are the development failures and risk mitigation strategies. And it's also very important to have a product pipeline. So we are making one CAR T, and what if it fails? So do we have other pipelines, other product pipeline in place, at least in the initial stage? Nothing attracts better than a revenue making startup with robust IPR to the investor. So this is very, very important. If you can make some revenue from the beginning and if it is increasing, that will be great. So this is our pipeline. We have different molecules in pipeline. Two are in advanced stage and preclinical pretty much done, and others are in the target validation stage. So that also makes a can finish portfolio pretty exciting. So these are the key investment question. What's the amount of fund you want to raise, and how would you evaluate the company's growth and asset? Because based on that, only the investor will put money and they will dilute the equity accordingly. They will own the equity. What would you give up for funds? Certainly the equity and certain rights. How would you utilize funds? And then you should be also smart enough to negotiate with investors in terms of either bringing more money or giving up less equity or both, and also the timelines of that money. Sometimes it comes with a lot of terms and condition. And then you should be able to see the profitability timelines for the company, and also the mergers and acquisition possibilities, because investor also want to know whether you will finally make the product or you're open to sell the company at some point of time. This is a typically cap table that I presented, that when you are raising funds, so suppose if we are raising 5 crores in seed round, we are able to showcase that we are already making revenue of 1.5 crores. And then our revenue is also increasing, and then you're adding more money in the fund. So that makes a lot of sense, because investor also see that you are progressing and you can make revenue, and then the company can evaluate better and they can put some money as an investment plan. So these are some of the patents which are in progress and some of the publications. We also presented recently at AACR in San Diego. It was very well received. We got two funded projects actually through those connects as well. This is the next company that I co-founded, and I'll be very, very brief. ULO Lab. It's named Uttarakhand Longevity. That's where the ULO was derived from. And within last 10 months, we developed a couple of products. These are the protein-based diets for cancer patients who are in a palliative care. Also has a vitamin into it. This is one of the blood sugar maintenance product, isolated based on the bioactives on the plant, flavored soluble curcumin. We have this topical application pain reliever, all derived from plant, multi-mineral, multivitamin, very affordable, longevity, and also hair follicle hair follicle strengthening minerals and tablets. Few of them are already trademarked, and hopefully we'll be hitting the market through these products by July this year. This is another project, food project that we are building with the students in the project mode. And this is another company, Mindura Yogwell, as a yoga company that we are also trying to build, but very, very initial stage. So the bottom line is that startup journey should be from idea to success, and there should be a profitability element, and that comes only when the company are sustainable first. But unfortunately, the scenario is that most of the startups in incubator are here, and then they don't reach there, or even if they reach there, they don't reach the profitability and financial success. So that is very, very important to realize. And the last thing that I like to share with you, and I like to convey this message, that if you are thinking that you will work for a few years, then you will start the company, and you are too young to start. So the question you may ask, are you too young to start? And answer is no. You don't have to be very young to start. There are startups that start in their 20s, even in their 20s or 30s, and they have very good success. Also, many examples are very Steve Jobs got millionaire at the age of 28, and Sky Lives Matter. I'm sure many of young women and girls must be using that. So the right time to start a company is now.
among us to join us for this very insightful session. And I'm sure that it's going to be an enlightening conversation. In the rapidly evolving landscape of life sciences, the synergy between academia and industry is driving groundbreaking innovations. This panel discussion will explore how strategic partnerships can accelerate research commercialization, enhance access to funding and mentorship, and bridge the gap between scientific discovery and market ready solutions. Experts from academia, industry, and the startup ecosystem will share insights on fostering collaborations, overcoming challenges, and building sustainable ventures that address global healthcare and biotechnological needs. Uh, I also request our esteemed moderator for the session, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, sir, please join us on stage. Allow me to introduce our esteemed moderator for today's session, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, with a wealth of experience across diverse domains and remarkable experience of conducting various TED Talks. He shall bring invaluable insights to our discussion. Major Mohammad Ali Shah is not only an ex-army officer, but also an army brat. He had the rare honor and privilege to serve as the ADC to the GOC 3 Corps. He has learned stagecraft from thespians such as Mr. Nasiruddin Shah and Mr. Tom Walter. He was awarded the coveted title of Mr. Pune Talent in 1999. He was awarded a commendation card for exceptional devotion to duty while serving with the Assam Rifles, and also led the Assam Rifles marching contingent for the Republic Day Parade in 2008, saluting His Excellency the President of India. He studied management from IIM Calcutta and has been the CEO of a company. He is a defense analyst on India's leading television channels. His writings and style of poetry has been highly acclaimed internationally. He has acted in mainstream Hindi films which have won national awards such as Haider, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, The Tashkent Files, all in unrecognizable get-ups, which is his USP. And with that, I hand it over to you, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, to steer this discussion forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nida. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, everyone. I'll begin with a small story. Once a lady who was a very, very good entrepreneur, she set out her son to go to a remote place and look for a product which would not be there, which we could create a market for. So the son goes and hunts in the remote area. For the business was for footwear. And the son says, there's no point of investing into a business of footwear over here. No one wears shoes over here. There's no point. So he gives a report that, ma'am, he would call his mother ma'am. So ma'am, there's no room for business over here. Forget it. So the business lady, she sends her daughter. And the daughter goes and gives a report that I've seen the market clearly. Nobody wears shoes or footwear. Golden opportunity to start a market over here for footwear. And let us create a requirement. So they created a requirement over there and the business boomed. And the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here to be moderating this second panel. And I take this opportunity to introduce, we have a panel of wonderful speakers, esteemed speakers. They're all thespians in their own rights. And, I feel overwhelmed sitting with you on the stage, ma'am, sir. And let me introduce Mr. Yawar Ali Shah, who shares the same surname as me, in fact. And he's an accomplished business leader. He transformed AMA Herbal into a global leader in natural dyes for the textile industry and is recognized expert on the ISO TC38 panel, representing India at international forums, honored with awards like ET Inspirational Leader Award in the year 2022 and Green Champion of the Year 2024. He actively leads in industry associations such as IILA, Padma, and CII. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. We also have with us Mr. Amjad Hussain. He is the co-founder of Canfins Therapeutics and Yulo Labs. He is a professor at the Cancer Research Institute, SRHU, Dehradun, and director of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, with a PhD from ICGEB, Delhi, and postdoctoral experience at Harvard Medical College. Please give a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rishabh K. Swansukha. Before I proceed on, I had the honor of giving a TEDx talk with him in the year 2019. I remember the date, it was 21st December 2019 in Hyderabad. And just yesterday, we exchanged some WhatsApp messages. And we did not know we'll be meeting here this morning. Mr. Rishabh K. Swansukha is a highly experienced finance and business strategist with over 25 years of experience specializing in M&A, tax litigation, artificial intelligence advisory, and venture investments. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. May I please take this opportunity to call Mr. Dr. Rajiv Ranjan, the Dean Management, Integral Business School, who is the co-moderator of the panel discussion. Do we have a seat for him? Yes, sir. If you are around, please come in, sir. Not here, okay. I was given this piece of paper, so. Okay, we have the next speaker, if I call out. And the next speaker, Dr. Parthasarthi Ramakrishnan. He serves as a senior principal scientist of CSIR, Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, Lucknow, Computational Toxicology Faculty, and leading Technology Development and Innovation Center, including the Center of Innovation and Translation Research. He has more than 23 years of research experience in applied biochemistry to unravel modern important issues in human health and environment. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. We have Mr. Nilesh Lele, who is the President, Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Business, Mumbai. Mr. Nilesh Lele is a seasoned finance professional and founding partner of Ramp Up Advisory LLP, a boutique investment bank, and has mentored over 100 startups in India, aiding them in securing funding for growth. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. We have Professor Sunil Khare. He is the Vice Chancellor of NSC BIHL Central Deemed University, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Director IISER, Kolkata. So incidentally, I went to IIM Joka in Kolkata, so I have this association with Kolkata very fondly. And Professor Sunil Khare, Director of IISER, Kolkata and Institute Chair, Professor of Biochemistry at IIT Delhi, is a renowned scientist with over 30 years of experience in extremophiles and enzyme technology. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Sir's biodata is very, very long, but I'm sorry, sir, I'm not doing justice to any of you, but keeping the paucity of time, I'm just giving out the few lines. Professor Dr. Shoaib Haider, who is a distinguished professor, School of Pharmacy, University College, London, United Kingdom. Professor Shoaib Haider is a leading computational biophysicist at UCL School of Pharmacy and an adjunct professor at Mount Sinai School of Medicine, New York, with a PhD from the Institute of Cancer Research, London. Please give a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. We can see online Dr. Saurabh Singh, who is a senior group head at Novartis. Sir, Jai Hind and good evening to you, sir. Dr. Saurabh Singh, with 12 years at Novartis, leads a regulatory medical writing team and has previously managed publication writing and medical information teams. A PhD in biochemistry from Aligarh Muslim University. Your former Vice Chancellor here, sir. Sir, Jai Hind, sir. He has over 40 publications in preclinical oncology, small RNA therapeutics, and cell signaling. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. The next speaker is Dr. Mohammad Salman Hashmi. Dr. Mohammad Salman Hashmi is a highly experienced R&D research and development research and specialist with over 22 years in the pharmaceutical and agricultural industries, known for designing non-infringing synthetic routine and eco-friendly processes for API, with a PhD in organic chemistry. I hope I have introduced everyone. Aapka reh gaya, yes. So sorry. We always have the best for the last. No, we always have the best for the last. That's why. Yes, the best level of surprise since you're the only lady, so I mean, that's why. And thank you for being here, ma'am. It's an honor. Professor Smita Lele, Institute of Chemical Technology, ICT, Mumbai. Professor Smita Lele is a pioneering chemical engineer and academician with a distinguished career in biochemical engineering, enzyme technology, and food innovation. With 178 publications, 4 patents, and mentoring over 100 students, she has significantly contributed to reducing post-harvest losses and developing sustainable technologies. Thank you very much for being here, ma'am, and very magnanimous of you to say that. If you don't have the introduction, please you can go ahead.
I can add, I'm that mother, but in my story, the daughter was failure and the successful son is sitting here.
Oh my goodness, that is brilliant. Big hand. Okay, that's why I could see you connect to that story, ma'am. So let's start with you only, ma'am, first. So you said you were the mother of the successful son is sitting here. So could you tell us a bit about that story first, ma'am, please?
I remember as a child when I read on marketing things that if you can sell a refrigerator to Eskimo,
Wow.
you are a good marketeer.
Okay.
And I immediately told my teacher that I will tell the Eskimo that if you feel very cold, which is minus 40, you sit in my refrigerator. It is only 10 degrees.
Okay.
I was 10 years old. So you can see that runs in my blood.
Right, ma'am.
And so I think we'll formally start because 2 panels have been merged.
Right, that's exactly,
So,
ma'am.
Yeah.
That's
so-
let's make it more interesting and more storytelling format.
Yeah.
So I was very keen to know about this story of yours, ma'am. This is formal only, ma'am. Don't worry.
Okay.
Ah, ma'am.
So today we are really discussing 2 parts. One is like startup and making adding vitamin M, which is the most important vitamin for sustainability, that is economic viability. And I am one of those academicians who had opportunity to even mentor some startups and do all those things long back when these words were not there, like SDG or complete utilization. But the thought was always there in the Society for All Scientists and Technologists. So here we have 2 things for youngsters. That is, first you need to have some kind of a product or a process or a molecule, as we saw in the previous thing. That is something unique, your USP, IPR. And then you have an idea, and when you should start up, you should have started yesterday. That was the answer. So these days, undergraduate startups are there. So don't wait for that. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, if your idea is good, everybody, lot of money is there in the world and in the country. But why should they come and give you that money? So that's the second question you have to ask. Now, sustainability, if your idea is good, and if you get vitamin M of finance, it will have sustainability. Don't worry. Because whether it is service industry, medical industry, or food industry, about which I'll be talking tomorrow morning, population is increasing across the globe. So market is always going to be 100% like the story, or at least you will have 1/3 share of the story of the market. The third thing I would like to add is, many times when you have products in food which are like low value, low bulk, you should start from marketing and come backward. But when you are in medicine, health center, diagnostic, new molecule, or food related to patients, they are high value, low bulk. So you start with your product, market will be automatically developed. I think that's a good startup.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Let's ask Mr. Nilesh Nele. So you were the successful son. Could you take it from where your mother left it from here, and could you just throw some light on that?
Thank you very much. And I think success is a journey. So I wouldn't say I've reached the pinnacle of success as yet.
Very well said.
And I would like to highlight what Dr. Amjad said. He had that one slide from idea all the way up to success, or in the academic world, you use the TRL concept. How many of you are familiar with the TRLs? Technology readiness. Yeah. And now it has been changed. Now it is not technology readiness. It's more like business readiness levels. So technology, and like I think Professor Yadav also said, ki a lot of patents, a lot of technologies are there, but they are not necessarily converted into businesses. So you guys should now focus on BRL, like business readiness level. And if you're familiar with the journey of 1 to 9, which was also captured on a slide, until you reach TRL 4, or you have some kind of a prototype, you're not going to really get external funds as far as VCs or the angels are concerned. So up until then, you really have to focus on grants, and a lot of the grant givers are here on the logos. I don't know if you have carefully seen some of those logos, and probably Alvina ma'am could be the right person. The DSTs and the DBTs and SCRBs, so many of those funds are available to you, right? So you need to utilize those funds till you actually reach a TRL 4, and then probably come to people like us, especially the two of us, unless there are more here, who can take you from TRL 4 to TRL 9 and hopefully be part of your journey, right? So I know it's a large panel, so I'm not going to again take too much time. I'm available offline also if anybody wants to connect with me and take some more feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the two important challenges the world is facing today, I perceive it as not Russia-Ukraine war or Israel, Hamas. No. The two important challenges are artificial intelligence and natural stupidity. And if you rely on the second one, you will become, you know what. Anyhow, but that's just on the lighter side, sir. So let's take it to Mr. Rishabh. Sir, I remember being on this TEDx with you, and you had shared some brilliant ideas. And in fact, you advise on artificial intelligence as well. Could you throw some light on how artificial intelligence is going to take over the entire world, in fact? That's going to be the future of tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is my 58th session offline on where I am talking about AI. In 30 cities, I have roamed around and met more than 5,000 business owners. The thing is, let us assume artificial intelligence as a knife. You cannot blame the knife.
Right.
The user and the mindset of the user will decide. You can use the knife to cut a cake. You can use the knife to murder somebody. You can use the knife for suicide. But you cannot blame the knife. So today, what the world is either blaming the knife or they are praising the knife. But AI will remain, and AI will make human a better human being. In the words of Jack Ma in a Hong Kong university, he was asked that whether humans should be worried about AI and the machine learnings and also on the technology side. So he told one thing which I want to tell here. He said that humans should never try to outsmart machines, because machines, AI, ML will always outsmart human. But human should always try to become a better human being. I think that is the main meaning. AI can be used in accelerating your clinical trials. AI can be used for hyper-personalized food creation or hyper-personalized medicine, or even hyper-personalized education. Recently, I have invested in a US startup who is creating a hyper-personalized education, which means in the class, nobody will be a failure. If the experiment becomes successful, so I invested early. Because as an investor, if you invest early, then only you make money. So now the University of New Jersey is trying to do an experiment with this startup, and they are saying that every student, every human brain has got some receptors, and the way they receive and the way they digest and grasp any concept is different, because God has made all of us different. But AI is accelerating our absorption power, which means in a class, whatever way we are being taught, our absorption will be at a highest level, and that is how AI is going to change each and everything. So I'm very big fan of AI. I've invested in a couple of AI investment, and if you guys are making an AI layer on your startups, whatever idea you have, just try to see, can you put some AI layer to it and make it more scalable, investable, globally scalable. That will be the key to success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rishabh. Let's ask Dr. Saurabh Singh, who is there with us virtually. We can see him on the screen over there. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to be here.
according to you, I mean, what advice would you give our youngsters if they want to start up a new venture? Because you are heavily into training and you're very passionate about training, in fact. So, what advice would you give to the youngsters who want to come to you and say we want to start up a new venture?
Right. Now, thank you for the question. And before I start, a disclaimer that whatever I'm going to talk about are my personal views and has nothing to do with my employer, Novartis, in this case. So I think what I have seen and is that a lot of times people get into these fields thinking about quick ROI, right? I think and that is a mistake. The idea is that people should be able to think about what is the challenge that exists, right? What is the problem that you can solve? And I think, and if you target that with some innovative solutions, can you do it faster? Can you do it in a more efficient manner? Can you essentially, make things which are more scalable faster than your competitors? I think that is basically going to be the key to your success. And I'm not even talking about base level coding. I'm talking about first what is the intent in which you are stepping into this field, right? So if you are able to do that, then your ROI, your success, I think that is going to follow. So I think a lot of people make that mistake that I'll do this and then I'll make quick riches. Doesn't work that way. I mean, we see a lot of these things in medical research or pharmaceutical research where things are coming up. AI is being used to kind of speed up the process of discovery of novel therapeutics, right? So in all these cases, there was a challenge, there was a problem, there was a human condition that could have been bettered by creating a better molecule which has less side effects, which has less adverse events. If you do that, I think then then success is going to wait for you. In a nutshell, that is what my advice would be.
Right, sir. So also I would like to ask you, since you gave a disclaimer, it's nothing to do with your employees, and we totally get that. We totally get the fact that it's your view personally. And supposing you would have been this person, would have gone to this remote area to see that nobody wears footwear over there. What would you have done, sir?
It's an interesting question. And again, you can look at it both ways, right? My thought is this, right? You have to be able to sit and observe for a while, right? Is that something which is a temporal issue? So think about it. If nobody is wearing footwear is it something which people are habituated to? Is that something they don't feel the need to do that? Or is that some event that is happening for which everyone has taken off their shoes? There are multiple ways of looking at it, correct? So I think the first thing that has to be done in any such scenario is to kind of gather your data, look at what is out there, right? And then, only then, once you have sufficient data points over a period of time, then you can decide what is the nature of the problem. So I probably would have sat down, looked at it for some time, and then only come to a conclusion of what is the nature of the problem. The first thing is that you need to be able to identify what exactly is the problem you're facing. What is the question that you need to answer?
Right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Yavar Ali Shah, sir. So what advice would you like to give to the youngsters who want to have a startup of their own?
Good evening, Mr. Ali. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to the youngsters. Starting up a startup, first of all, you should know why are you doing it. Why are you doing it? Meaning, if it is just that you need to do something after you have completed your education, and you can have a job. Instead of a job, you want to do a business because you feel you will not be employed. Rather, you will be employing the people. You will be self-dependent. If that is the reason, yeah, that is also acceptable. But a true startup is something who has a vision. As Mr. Saurabh also said rightly, identification of opportunities, identification of a pain. And innovation is a painkiller. If you can identify a pain and then you can innovate a painkiller, then you have an innovation in your hand. And if the painkiller is so that it is reducing the pain of everybody, then any investor or anybody will be very much interested into you. Then you should go with the passion that I have such a wonderful painkiller that it can solve the problem of so many people that I must do it. And it's not just a responsibility as a startup, but as a human or as an entrepreneur that can change the pain of the world to a happy ending or happy feeling. Then your whole thought process becomes different. So you should have a vision in your eyes. you should have a vision and well-defined direction and a mission, then you should do a startup. If you have that, then you must do a startup. And there are also 2-3 things that I always say, that when you do a business and when you do a job, there is a one difference, and those who are doing a business are blessed with 2-3 different things. Number one, as a businessman, as you grow your business, you grow an opportunity for your next generation to come and join the business. Because as a father or as a mother, when you are educating your kids, you have a vision that my kid should be doing better than me, or maybe at least something what I'm doing. You can grant them a good education, you can support them with whatever the facility they want, but you cannot make sure that they will be getting a good job. But if you have grown up a business to a level that they can come and join your business, then you have make sure that your next generation is secure. And the next best thing that you can do, we talk of corporate social responsibility, and we talk of corporate social supports that we can provide to the various people by means of medical support, by means of education support, and there are so many things that we can do as a support. But in my opinion, the biggest corporate social responsibility that you can do is by providing a job. And when you do a business, you provide a job. And when you provide a job, you build your culture, you build your industry, you build your state, and you build the nation at large. So these are the benefits that the business draw. So be a startup, think of it, but come with a vision, come with a purpose, and then grow in such a way that you don't only support your family, your next generation, and also support the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shah Sahab. Let's ask Dr. Parthasarathi Ramakrishnan, sir. So you had 23 years of experience in research experience, in fact, and would like to know from you. I had a mental block to technology, sir. You are a renowned scientist. And in the army, I learned when the going gets tough, the tough get going. In the pandemic, I learned when the going gets tough, the tough gets online. So what do you say? I mean, for a person who is not very technically savvy or not technically challenged, but he wants to be an entrepreneur, what advice would you want to give to that person, sir?
Yeah, great question. Actually, whatever you ask, I'm going to answer to the same.
Sir.
Actually, you need hand-holding. Dr. Nida is the Integral University established. And same way, we are also in CSIR, IITR, or many other organizations in India, we establish the incubation centers. It's a kind of mentor pool in which you come with an idea. Maybe that's maybe a very, very, very premature idea, or probably you may not know about the market. So only in your mind it's there. So how you can mind to market to money, or discovery to deployment to dollars. Whatever you want, you need a proper hand holding. Initially, people are coming like their own enthusiastic way and exploring in different possible avenues and become successful, and many failures also there. So right now, we want to minimize the risk of failures. So for that, you need to handhold with the right people. Like people, I want to go, I will go to business, I will go to IIM Incubation Center and try to know how they can help us about the market value or market penetration and how I can do the business. For technology, we are deep tech supporting incubation centers. And we have almost more than like 40 national labs, or we are hand holding. And other than that, DBT, ICMR, we have collaborative network. So if you come with any sort of discovery or idea, if we can provide support, we can provide support. Otherwise, we can connect with other incubation center who are all having this kind of expertise. So that way you can go and develop your technologies. And the technology can be fine-tuned and scalable and marketable, or periodically you can grow in your entrepreneur journey. That's what because of budding entrepreneurs, that's why I'm telling you from very, very basic way. So you can go and approach a mentor in the right place to start your innovation journey. Thank you so much.
Very well answered, sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to share with you all, I would take this opportunity to share with you all in the year 2019, when I met Rishabh Saab. And when by that time, I had a world record, in fact, for having given the highest TEDx talks in the world. And then my career as a speaker was taking off. And then the pandemic came in March 2020. And I had a mental block to technology, as I mentioned to you. I do not know what Zoom, WebEx, Teams, Google Meet is. I didn't want to learn it. But as I said, when the going gets tough, the tough gets online. So I went online, took me 2 days, I broke my mental block of technology, made friends with him. And then I converted an adversary into an opportunity. I set up an online public speaking academy, which was totally online. And we had people from all over the world join in there. So that's something, it's what you said, what you said is, I can so relate to that, sir. Let's ask Dr. Amjad Hussain, the co-founder of the Canvas Therapeutical and Yulo Labs. So what advice would you give to the youngsters? Again, same common question. I mean, because the young minds here, they would have, they are very good in technology. Someone comes to you and says, that's I'm very good in technology. Should I look for a job or should I look for starting my own business?
Okay, thank you for the question. So I think if you are starting in your career when you are 21, 22, finding a job not only give you some initial security, but I would say it also gives you a bit of exposure. Like you, it also tells you and makes you experienced in like what are the how the real industry works and how to execute idea, how to take it forward from idea to product or service. But yes, if you're passionate to start a company and if you're sure that business is what you want to do, then as I also presented and showed in my presentation that the right time to start a company is today. So, what advice I would give you at this point of time, in very short, that you can also identify whether your idea is very deep tech or whether it can be executed, very easily. So most of the time, the deep tech ideas, they are R&D driven. They take a lot of capital, lot of time. While the other ideas, which are low hanging, maybe more productive, you can start it very early. And I believe execution is very, very important. And as another panelist mentioned, that the hand holding is also very important for the right startup. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's ask Professor Sunil Khare, sir, the Vice Chancellor of NSC BIHL, Central Deemed University, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, IISER, Kolkata. Sir, you having the experience of a Vice Chancellor, where you have children, what do you advocate further to them? That padho, likho, achhi naukri pakdo, or gain practical knowledge from the field, learn you don't have to really get into a theoretical degree. Like, there's a difference between education and literacy, sir. So would you advocate for them to be more educated in order to have a brighter future, and brighter future in terms of a job or in terms of a business, sir?
All right. So let's say education, it's a kind of education versus the future prospects. That's what you're asking.
Yes, sir.
So education has multiple dimensions. So the primary task of higher education is to train them in a way that they can think creatively, innovatively, and can have their own ideas, and they have enough subject background to do something. In the process, every student has its own thinking. Some of them are having business acumenship right from the beginning, and they see during the education itself, they find some gaps appearing in the market or in the need of society, and they think whatever education they got or the knowledge which has been imparted to them can be useful to fill that gap. That set of students. While I was in IIT Delhi, you see how many unicorn have come out of it. Startup is a culture there, but that was the engineering institution. So product is there, is the main thing there. Product comes out of engineering. But now I am in a science stream. There, the idea is more basic sciences, understanding the fundamentals, and exploit them for some kind of processes. But that is very time consuming. Basic science principles, take them to a process, is a time consuming. So what I see that when there is an engineering institute or a student, they are more inclined to set up their own career goals, become independent, do the management normally as a stream, then startups are there. And IITs have very strong incubation centers. So they also fund students. This is called student startups. Right while they are studying, if they have some idea, institute support it, and they can incubate, work on their idea, incubate whatever they can develop. And also there is a hand holding to take it forward in form of a startup or some kind of venture. This is there in the engineering. But in the basic science, there's no such thing. But now government is focusing to give us the incubation centers, saying if some good scientific, discovery, you can say, in science discovery happens not so frequently.
Right.
If some good thing comes, some good lead emerges, can it be translated into some kind of product? So this concept is new there. But in general, student of the science stream are less for the startups, but they are more for higher education and acquire more knowledge and pursue research as their passion. Mostly, this is how they are trained. They go abroad or they work here in the different national research. So I think I'll sum up by saying that I have seen both the streams, whereas engineering institutions or engineering students, they opt more for, they are trained for the product, process, technologies. Science students are more trained in a way that they try to understand the phenomena,
Right.
develop the basic knowledge. Curiosity driven. Science is curiosity driven. Then it is translated into something. So, for instance, in the COVID, the vaccine development was very fast, but the basic science was there already. Okay. So, basic science is there. So, they are more into curiosity driven science. So, this way.
Thank you very much, sir. Very well answered, sir. Let's ask Professor Dr. Shoaib Haider. He is a distinguished professor at the School of Pharmacy, University College London, United Kingdom. Sir, I have a very, very different question for you because I would like to take this opportunity for all of us to benefit from your presence over here. Man, as we have gone to the moon, we have gone to space, we've achieved a lot. But till today, why have we not been able to actually find the cure for cancer? First question is that. Second question is, there are a lot of people in Delhi who claim that they have an antidote for cancer. They have a vaccination, and I have seen it personally with my own eyes. I mean, we had a relative who passed away a few years back. So they were, of course, matta kya nahi karta. Everybody wants to save their near and dear ones. So he was selling a vaccination for a ridiculous amount, extremely expensive, and people are willing to invest that money, and there were people buying that money as well, buying that vaccination. So first, why haven't we found a cure to cancer? And secondly, what would you say about the people who claim that they have this antidote to cancer and they're making a lot of money out of that, sir?
First of all, your first question, why is there no cure for cancers? Well, it depends on which cancer. There are some cancers are completely curable. There are some cancers, it's a lifestyle disease. It's a syndrome, can occur. I can smoke all my life, not get cancer. You can smoke a little. So every body is different. The immune systems are different. Everybody is genetically very different. So there are multiple answers why there's no cure. But having said that, some of the cancers are completely curable. Prostate cancer, if you catch it early, 100% curable. I've worked on it for a very, very long time. There are others as well. So it really depends. And pancreatic cancer, one of my drugs is in clinical trials, phase 3. It's one of the most aggressive, ugly forms of cancer. It's responding well. We don't know until the drug goes into the clinic. But we're trying. So it really depends on that. The second question, why are there? What do I say about I'm a man of science. I just don't believe in that. I believe in evidence. So if there are claims, people can claim to anything. So there's not much I can argue with that. If they have, if they say that they have a cure, they have a cure. Simple.
Right. No,
they'll still come to allopathy medicine and scientific cures for.
I agree with you. So they are people because faith heals, and where medicine doesn't work, they tend to turn towards faith and they pray. That's a different. There's some Babas who I'm not saying whether they are right or wrong, but who claim, and people go to them, they flock to them. The last hope. But I'm talking about medical practicing doctors with a proper MBBS who claim that they have an injection for cancer, sir.
Yeah, but it is evidence based. So where is
Okay.
that evidence?
Right.
If they themselves, why are they not doing research? I mean, for example, we don't have this in our country, but in America, there are physician scientists. You have the best scientists who are physicians, and they take their own therapies to their own clinic, and they are treating that. And we do that in Mount Sinai School of Medicine, and there are others as well. So it really depends upon. I mean, if they are so hell bent on the physicians themselves, they should apply for trials and proceed with their research.
Very well said, sir. Thank you very much. From moving on from one doctor to another doctor, of course, you have guessed it right. Last but not the least, and Dr. Mohammed Salman Hashmi Saab. Sir, you have had extensive experience over 2 decades with pharmaceutical companies. And in the pandemic, there were online companies who were making profits. There were pharmaceutical companies who were making profits. Whereas businesses were closing down, people were suffering losses, people were getting into depression. So you have worked with the best of the biggest pharmaceutical companies. Could you tell us your experience in the pandemic where these pharmaceutical companies were actually generating profits?
Actually, in the COVID time, you all are aware that how they make profit means in the COVID time, only experiments were done. There was no cure, no medicine, nothing was there. Everybody was doing the experiment on the patients. So all those patients who got admitted, they are now suffering after effects. So they make business by wrong perceptions. There was no medicine for COVID, but they were doing businesses saying that this medicine is can cure the COVID.
Right, sir. Thank you. And we have one more doctor virtually with us. He's about to leave. In fact, he has a meeting to go in another few minutes. So I'm talking about Dr. Saurabh Singh. In fact, sir, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, yes.
You can hear me, right? Sir,
Yes.
since you have joined on Zoom, in fact, I would like to ask you, or StreamYard, how much have you used the virtual platform after post-pandemic, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic? How much have you used it? Because the online, as I mentioned, the pharmaceutical companies and the online companies who were making actually profits, they converted adversity into an opportunity there. Many people did. So how much have you used the online platforms pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, and what is the difference you find?
All right. So just as a disclaimer, so Novartis is a global company.
I think
So
you're on
we
mute,
have
sir. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Am I audible now? Can you hear me?
Sir, I think there's a technical issue. You are on mute. You're on mute. Now you're on mute. Yes. Volume, badayega thodi? Could you increase the volume, please?
All right. Hopefully I can be heard now.
Could I request the PCR to increase the volume? Okay, no worries, no worries. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. And I'm glad you are with us. I was tense that you would be leaving soon, so you had a meeting to attend. But I'm glad as long as you are with us, the longer you can be with us, it'll be great.
Sure,
So,
I'll be.
Let's keep the house open for discussion. And anyone would like to ask any of the panelists any question, please go ahead. Let's all participate and let's make it a discussion for all of us to benefit and learn something from. Yes, anyone? Yes. We have just a minute, sir. Please. You can take.
How much does strategy play a role in starting up a business? What would you say?
What importance is strategy in starting up a business? Anyone can answer that, please?
Can I take it?
Yes.
Okay. So strategy is very important, especially if you are building a product which is taking a lot of time and which is also deep tech. And even for the low-hanging products as well. As I also illustrated one of the example that when we started, so we developed a vertical, which was a service vertical, tumor microenvironment platform. Through that vertical, we started providing services to pharma companies and raised revenue, which was fairly decent to support 5 or 6 people on payroll, right? So that helps us, that gave us a cushion and gave us an operational budget for 2.5 years, and also made a very strong case for investors that, okay, we can sustain, we are able to generate some revenue. There is a service product if our product fails. So that, I think that is a very important point. Strategy is very important, and along with strategy, there should be a very strong execution plan. That is also very important to start a business. I hope that answers your question.
I just noted some points while discussing here, not really answering his question. But my son is 13 years old, and he's being told that by the time he gets into the workforce, the 70% of the jobs that will be there at that time do not exist today. So he doesn't know what he wants to do because he doesn't know what kind of a workforce would be. So something to think about, right? That some of the things that will be happening after 5, 10 years, 20 years, we don't know what they are at this point in time. And I'll give you an example, and also could be a need is created. I mean, the Zeptos and the Blinkits, unnatural need has been created, right? I mean, it's a successful models, but 10 years back, 20 years back, were we ordering items or getting them delivered to our house? No. So need creation is also very important. Like probably the shoes thing that I had heard a similar story in Africa where someone thought that there is no need, whereas the other guy thinks that there's 100% market, right? So some of these need creations could also be a thing that may happen in times to come. And finally, like it was asked whether to do a job seeker or a job giver. I like to use that term that is beautifully explained in the ikigai, right? So figure out what your ikigai is, and that will easily answer the question that what you really should be doing. Thank you.
Thank you. My next, yes, sir, please.
Yeah,
Sir,
I'll
please.
just add to
Yes,
what
yes,
Dr. Lele said. He raises a very interesting point of, what are the student or, the workforce is going to do, but you can actually plan it. So let me give you a very simple example that my university, University College London, did in 1998 and 2001. So this was a time where there was a financial crunch with the university. So a bunch of people got together and they created a virtual space where people from different departments could just gather online, have a chat, and thrash out ideas. No need for physical space, nothing, right? Then what happened is that this institute called the Gatsby Neuroscience Institute came into being. And it was a bunch of mathematicians, physicists, neuroscientists, all these people who got together, right? And they were having just normal chats. Down the line, this year, the same institute, which is a virtual institute, it doesn't exist on any. We had a Nobel Prize winner in physics, Geoffrey Hinton, who started it, and Demis Hassabis of DeepMind. One is an entrepreneur from that same institute. So what they did over 30 years is that they nurtured this whole idea of artificial intelligence. And now it's the most sought after institute to go to. But at that point in time, if you think about 1998, how many people knew about artificial intelligence? Very few. So that whole need was generated and nurtured as a place for gathering momentum for future, which corresponds to what Dr. Lele was saying, and for entrepreneurship as well. And we had both this year.
Thank you, sir. That's very well answered. Very well answered. So I would like to ask Dr. Rajiv Ranjan, sir, you as well. Please give a big hand to Dr. Rajiv Ranjan. He is the Dean of the Integral Business School. Most of you, all of you, almost everyone would be familiar with him, in fact. So what do you encourage your students over here in Integral to do? Because yesterday I was there for the performance and I saw, unbiased, I was a judge for the debate competition and they were undoubtedly hands-on. The Integral students were the best. And I'm not saying this because I'm here, but I saw it with my own eyes. Everybody was good, but they were some of on the level. And I couldn't debate that way when I was their age. So what do you encourage them to do? I mean, take up business or to be entrepreneurs? What do you encourage your students to do, sir?
So, to answer this question, I will take an example. So one of our students, Tanveer Alam, who is a BBA student only in his second year, has on the convocation on 17th won the Best Entrepreneur Award out of 2 student startups. So it is very interesting. It only in the second year of the undergraduate studies, if someone is able to come up with a startup called Affiliate Karo, and means he does not come up with the idea. We're talking about the product market fit every now and then. And we were also talking about, Dr. Nilesh Lele talked about business readiness framework. So students are ready with businesses, are ready with exact products which are marketable, which are investable. So the idea is giving them independence. So sometimes these kind of students will need more time. So one of the very important things which we always talk about is the time is money. And for students also, these young entrepreneurs, time is actually money, because they have to invest time in their entrepreneurial startup. And that is where you have to give them curricular breaks. Maybe you have to accommodate their request for some kind of a sabbatical they are seeking within the semester, and they have proven themselves. So that is the kind of freedom that needs to be provided to students within the academic setup, ensuring that it is not being taken for a discount, but then those students who actually are doing something and has something to show as an outcome should be provided that kind of a freedom. And we at Integral University as are providing that freedom, and that is helping the students prosper. So that is how I look at it. And our Integral Status Foundation Executive Director is here, and she is one of the beacons of that, and she has supported these initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So I would like to share a small, which I heard. There was a startup, and they were into energy drinks. They set up a new business of setting off energy drinks. So they advertise a lot. And the more they advertised, the sales kept dropping. Have you ever heard of this? The more you advertise, the sales would drop. How that happened? The more you advertise, the sales should go up, right? But the more they would advertise, the sales would drop. So they said, energy drink is not working. They set up a washing machine business. And same thing, exactly same thing happened with washing machines. The more they advertise, the sales would drop. Now, how that happened? As Mr. Rishabh said, about artificial intelligence, it's like a knife. Either you can use a knife in the kitchen, a barber uses a knife to shave you. You can use a knife for crime as well. It's how you do it, how you utilize, like social media. Now, what happened was, apparently, we suspect it could have been AI job. How? They didn't understand their market. Their market was in the Gulf. In Dubai or in Saudi Arabia, you don't read left to right, you read right to left Arabic, right? So, clean clothes, go into a washing machine and come out dirty. Energy drink, you are energetic, you drink the drink and you're tired and you go to sleep. So obviously the sales were dropping. Now, whether it was the work of AI or then they realized what happened. So any of you who can tell, was it AI or was it they didn't use their minds? Anyone, koi bhi, anyone can tell. Nida ma'am, आप बताइए क्या हुआ होगा यहाँ पे? Okay.
No, they just didn't understand the cultural things.
Right.
And many such mistakes have also happened. Like certain word means something different in different, right? Like lele means fish in Indonesia, maybe a bad word in Germany, right? So I launched my own brand in Germany, and the sales could tank. So we also need to understand the cultural aspects and all the other aspects. I mean, I don't know if I can take a couple of more minutes, but whatever I had heard, someone who was a marketing guru from HUL, they realized that the Arials and the Surf Excels, right? So who are the ones who are really going to use them? So they realized that those are those aspirational ones, the people from the middle class or the lower middle class, जिनके कपड़े खराब होते हैं उतना, and then they're using, and you see in the ads. So they started targeting, like you said, who's the target group? The other thing they do is they typically try to launch in a smaller city. A city like a Vishakhapatnam is supposed to be a classic, where the demography of Vishakhapatnam or Vizag is very similar to the national demography. So they typically launch in a Vizag or a Chandigarh or an Indore. No brand ever launches anything in a Mumbai or a Delhi thing. They will always explore, and I'm talking about a FMCG or a food kind of a company who typically tries to do this. And once they see that there is a success in these smaller, not smaller town per se, but a relatively smaller town compared to the metros or the other big cities, then they go in all out into some of these bigger cities. So these are some of the nuances. And maybe one last point, the same Nilesh Lele has different buying habits at different channels, or has different consumption patterns at different points. So for example, this bottle of water, right? You will get it in 200 ml, you'll get a half liter, you'll get a 1 liter, a 5 liter, and a 20 liter also. But I will be consuming that bottle different sizes at different places. So in a typical setup like this, you'll find a 200 ml. You'll not find a 1 liter being kept over here. But if I go to a store, I will typically buy a 1 liter bottle. I don't buy a 2 liter or a 5 liter. But if you go to a religious places, you will see that they're selling 2 liters and 5 liters, because you typically go with a family and you're going to spend the whole day, so easily you'll consume. And in a other office setup, you'll again find a 20 liter where you will take a glass and you'll consume. So the same Nilesh Lele is actually consuming different type of pack sizes for the same product. So a lot of these small insights are what you need to really get before you go all out and launch any product.
Right. You mentioned about the soap detergents that, all that, that tagline, thoda chale, thoda istemal kare aur zyada chale, something like that. So, remind me of the story of Colgate. When Colgate was introduced, it came in a tube. But now what happened, the outlet of the tube was very small. And they had promised that it will last you for, jo aapko 15 din chalna hai, wo aapko 20 din chalega. Aur chala bhi. But then what happened, the sales of that particular brand started dropping, because why should you need it? There was no requirement. It was lasting you. So a young boy came up with a brilliant idea. Just put the outlet a bit bigger than what it is. So if you press subtly, more will come out, and which will last you for 20 days will now last you for 14 days. So as a result, the sales picked up again. So it again, आपने सर फिर Blinkit का भी जिक्र किया. And just before we started the panel discussion, I was speaking to Rishabh ji about Blinkit. He mentioned that there would be drones. रात के 10 साढ़े 10 बजे बच्चे का ट्यूशन है या एग्जाम है अगले दिन. We don't have pen or whatever. So there you can relate to it. So you are panicking. So Blinkit comes to a rescue that now we have to do this. So now, thank you very much. So now we have to. अब ऋषभ जी ने बताया कि Blinkit से they'll be using drones and they'll deliver it on say 20th floor and they'll save the electricity of the building, power saving. So could you throw some light on that, please? I'm sure everybody would be interested in knowing that.
So I receive a lot of query on quick commerce, and I would like to say that, and these are my personal view, not the company's view, though I advise them. So when the quick commerce got started, it was from where the idea came. The idea came from 30-minute delivery of pizza. Because you make the pizza, you take the order, make the pizza, and give it the pizza in 30 minutes. So the quick commerce companies, and it started with Zepto first in Dubai. In Dubai, in one of the locality where people don't go out to do shopping for grocery and other thing, the young boys, the Adit Palicha and his co-founder, they started delivering the grocery in almost no time. Like you will take time to take out your car, go to a mall, do some shopping, and by the time you go to a mall, you wanted two things, but you come up and you end with 4 items purchased. So they said that we want people to buy exactly what they want to buy, and they get exactly what they want to get in a minimum possible time. Now, imagine a building of 100 story. How do a delivery boy will deliver in 10 minutes? 10 minutes will be probably the waiting time in front of lift. So that way the solution comes with a drone, because drone is not only for delivering the emergency stuff at various places or maybe the agriculture spray and all, but it can be used to deliver your documents, to deliver your medicine or the lightweight items. Now, I would want to tell you that you can take a printout also in my house in Gurgaon. Whenever I need any print, I just do it Blinkit. And within 10 minutes, I can get my color prints, printed paper, properly, nicely printed from Blinkit. Not only print, this winter, we launched heaters. It was very cold, and I told my wife that, can you bring the heater from bedroom to drawing room? She was probably working, and I just did Blinkit, and within 10 minutes, 2 heater came. And by the time she came out from the kitchen, she said, "Ye heater kahan se aaya?" I said that this heater has come from Blinkit. And this summer, you will find air conditions, mobile phones, your decathlon stuff, which you earlier the tendency was that we will go to a fashion mall, decathlon, we'll try the shoes, we'll try the the various stuff, clothes, and then we'll buy. Now no more. Entire decathlon is on 10 minutes. So one thing was told that time is the only thing. Any business idea you have in your mind, if you connect that with time, if you save time and save money, you are successful. Investor will invest money on you. Only two things. Or if you are doing both, then you are super successful. If you are saving the time and you are saving the money also, like your customer, think about the customer. And I'll give you one idea. Have you heard about 59-minute loan? Yes. There is a site. I tried this site, and it was a startup from Gujarat. And everybody was saying, in 59 minutes, you can get a loan sanction letter on your printer. And I tried it, and it was working. And believe me, who invested in that company? Government. Wow. So government has invested, and it is now PSU. So your idea can be picked up by the government also.
Thank you. Very well said. And with that, I think we'll close the session. And thank you very much to all the esteemed panelists, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for taking your time. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And so anything you would like to add, please?
No, I will like to just thank you because you are a very interesting moderator. You started with a story which will stay with everyone, and crisis as an opportunity is the core of entrepreneurship. And once that is understood, and you conveyed the message at the very beginning, so I will thank you for that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, respected panel members, for such an engaging panel discussion. However, ladies and gentlemen, this was no doubt a very engaging session, but any session is incomplete without expressing gratitude and felicitating the panel members. So keeping ahead and moving ahead with the tradition of Integral University, I would like to request Mrs. Azra Wasim, Honorable Madam Chancellor and co-founder Integral University, to kindly felicitate. Please kindly come up on the stage. Dr. Syed Nadeem Akhtar sir, Honorable Pro-Chancellor Integral University, and Dr. Nida Fatima ma'am, Executive Director ISF, to kindly felicitate Major Muhammad Ali Shah Saab, moderator for the session. Nadeem sir, please join us on the stage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, sir, and Nida ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would like to request Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah Sahab to kindly felicitate Professor Sunil K. Khare sir, Professor Smita S. Lele, ma'am. Professor Smita S. Lele, ma'am. Mr. Yavar Ali Shah, sir. Professor Dr. Shozaib Haider, sir. Thank you so much, Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah Sahab. Now I would like to request Professor Furqan Kamar Sahab to kindly felicitate Dr. Salman Hashmi, sir. CA Rishabh Savan Sukha, sir. Dr. Amjad Hussain, sir. Dr. Amjad Hussain, sir. Mr. Nilesh Lele, sir. Mr. Nilesh Lele, sir. Dr. Partha Sarthi, sir. And Professor Rajiv Ranjan, sir. Okay, so Furqan Kamar, sir, there is one more. I would like to request Professor Furqan Kamar, sir, to kindly felicitate Mrs. Azra Wasim, ma'am, Honorable Chancellor, Madam, and co-founder, Integral University. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, please kindly take your seats, panel members. Kindly take your seats. Now, I would like to request Dr. Nida Fatima, ma'am, Executive Director, ISF, to kindly address for a keynote address.
This is my concluding remark. So as we conclude this insightful panel discussion on transforming startups, the power of collaboration between academia and industry, one thing is clear: the future of innovation lies at the intersection of research and real-world application. Bridging the gap between academia and industry is not just an opportunity, it is a necessity for driving impactful solutions in healthcare, biotechnology, and beyond. Today's conversation has reinforced the importance of strategic partnerships, knowledge exchange, and shared resources in nurturing startups. By fostering a collaborative ecosystem, we can accelerate groundbreaking discoveries, translate research into viable products, and ultimately improve lives on a global scale. Let's take this momentum forward, always encouraging open dialogues, forging new partnerships, and continuing to support the brilliant minds shaping the future of entrepreneurship. Thank you to our esteemed panelists, our engaged audience, and the incredible moderator for making this discussion so enriching. The journey of transformation does not end here, it begins with every connection we make today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nida ma'am. Thank you so much, dignitaries from the university, panel members, and guests. Now, I would like to request that everyone should proceed towards the pandal for the cultural evening.
Thanks.